Welcome back to Human. I'm so excited that you're here, and I am excited to announce that Pick My Brain is now the official sponsor of Human. This episode is all about Pick My Brain, and this was actually a call with Maxine, the CEO and founder of Pick My Brain, and we were supposed to be just chatting about the proposal for why Pick My Brain should sponsor Human, and it just turned into a really great conversation that we wanted to make a podcast episode. So, Pick My Brain is a platform where people have profiles. It explains who they are and what they want to offer to the world, and you can book them for calls, for coffee and conversations, for lots of different services through the platform. You can browse all these different brains. We call them brains who have profiles on Pick My Brain. The brains are people who are looking to offer their time, knowledge, and experiences in new, creative, and fun ways. And if you're a returning listener of Human, I am sure you have heard me mention Pick My Brain here or there because a ton of different guests are a part of the Pick My Brain platform, and I was able to meet them through the website. So make sure you go check out Pick My Brain. You can browse a bunch of different incredible people and have amazing conversations with them, or you can start your own profile as well. And some of the folks that we talk about in this episode are all brains, so feel free to go check them out on the platform if you want to learn about them more. Feel free to go into Pick My Brain, talk to so many different people from around the world, and make sure you let them know that Human sent you. And that's kind of where this conversation starts. So enjoy. So welcome to Human. We're here today with Maxine, the CEO of Pick My Brain. Right now we're supposed to be talking about our proposal. I'm doing an intro. Right now we're supposed to be talking about our proposal for the sponsorship, but of course it just dives into good conversation, and so we're just going to keep it rolling.
Welcome to the hardest part about being a boss for Maxine Cunningham is like every meeting I'm like, you guys just want to talk. You know,
oh my God, you know, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
To start to see like who referred you Human, Jess.
I gotta collect. Yeah, that's so true. And
I love the who referred you. You've had that forever. And I also fucking love like when you became a brain and like how many people have booked you. Like, the new features are fucking amazing.
Thanks. Cool. Yeah, it's like they have to now filter through, like, it's so funny what goes into it. Like, it's you do the front page, then you got to do the back end to match it, then you got to do the front facing profile again. And it's like remodeling a lamp in your house and having to redo your kitchen. Yeah, well, I love this lamp. So we're going to have to do the cabinets. But it's important. It's so important to like upgrade, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it's still like it's messy. It's fucking construction everywhere.
That's a good way to put it too. Construction everywhere. Okay, yeah. I also want to give people backstory. How long is this company? Like, when did you start it? And give a little brief explanation of what is Pick My Brain.
You want me to give that right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's really hard for me to think about when it started, but it started in my mind. So that when the idea planted, when I was on my year on. So just the backstory a little bit. Again, working in an industry, trying to have impact. The method that I was using wasn't working because the world is old school. Saw Airbnb, saw this company come out and create peer-to-peer. I love peer-to-peer everything. I think the whole future is peer-to-peer. So peer-to-peer connections. And I was like, this is the way forward. So I took this year on. I was like, I'm going to take a year on. I didn't call it off. And I'm going to make my own university schedule. And I'm just going to go like think about this because this is a big thought. Like to give yourself time to think about things. That's how Pick My Brain was birthed as well. To give yourself space and time to think about things. But yeah, I took this year on and I was like traveling all around, just getting inspired and meeting people and thinking about like this Pick My Brain and like all these other marketplace economies. And one day we were driving up a mountain and I was like, why isn't there like an Airbnb for people? Like, why can't I book anyone in the world to talk? Cause I was getting inspired. I had just met my Airbnb host. I just met this crazy guy that lived in this town that transferred this deep knowledge about me, about the salmon rivers. And I was like, whoa, like just so much learning. I was like, why isn't this doable? And that night I remember Brett and I got this cabin. And I woke him up in the middle of the night. I was like, okay, this is like I'm pregnant. This is as important as if I was pregnant. I'm pregnant with an idea, but I'm like pregnant. This is as important as if I was pregnant with a baby. Like I need you to understand the relevance. And I didn't sleep that night. And I was like, just didn't leave me after that. It was just like, I was like, no, people need to be booked. People are the most fascinating things in the whole world. There's no product associated with it. It's peer-to-peer. It's like, it tethers us. If everyone could do this, they'd be as full and as colorful. Yeah, it's like everyone has a piece. Everyone has a piece of the fucking puzzle. Everyone does. It's not just some people. Everyone has a piece. And in order to make the full map so you're not missing the head or like missing an edge, like you need the fucking edges for sure too. We got to find out who the edges are. Right? We need to, so anyways, all this, it just, that was the day it was conceived, that I was like imprinted. This is the idea that I will work on for the rest of my life. And it just so happened at that time, like my mom was retiring. And I was like, where does she put her knowledge back into the system? Like, where does she get used? Like, she is the source. She's a magnifier. All our parents are. Mm-hmm. Elders, this has always been the case. They're just lights. They speak in lyric. They like know because they went through all of the shit that you have to go through when you live. So, and then I remember the first thing I looked up was like, how many people retire every year? And I was like, where does all that knowledge go? And then, so yeah, that's when it was like, that's when the thread just like started pulling at the thread. And then I remember Brett and I talking about making lists of all the things of the people that we met that we could book and what we would book them for if we could. Mm-hmm. And we'd go to the library and just like work on this like Excel spreadsheet and just like write down ideas. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'd think about it.
I love that so much because I feel like that's how I started Human to Human, is I started thinking about all these people and all these topics that I would want them to talk about or talk about with them. Yeah. And that's exactly it. When you think of the people and then the specific thing that you'd book them for, talk to them about, then that's when you know you're never going to run out of people or ideas or conversation topics or any of that.
Never. Which is why my product is also incredible. Anything that's product-based will run out. And that's like, I fought, and it's full circle, Jess. Like I fought for the Planetary Boundaries, like for 5 years, like hard. And like, it broke me. Like, yeah, it just definitely hurt. And this one, I always was like, where is that abundant source of like letting people have jobs in the economy and feeling full and like being able to adventure and not being like such a, you don't want to be like the granola girl that's like, think about your carbon emissions with everything you do. But at the same time, you're like, think about your carbon emissions with everything you do. And I remember taking a vow. I will not sell anything that has to do with the product. I can't and believe in what I believe in. Just like I couldn't, continue to eat meat when I studied that no longer should we be able to do that as much as we do. We've lost the privilege. There's too many of us. We have to adjust. Right. And so anyways, yeah, it's like kind of full circle because you said conversations are abundant. They're right here and then they just create value. And then when you collide them with someone else's, and then when you talk to an elder and transfer knowledge, that's like forever. It's just like, it's magic. It's literally magic. Value creation. Yeah. Open doors. Like I feel like a sorcerer. I just need like, my only thing is like, how do you make a global database, a global phone book, right? That's something that pauses is like, that's a big problem to technically think about.
Yeah.
So I just need enough money to attract the right minds to be able to do that. That's it.
It's outsourcing. Like even the podcast I was on today, the guys were like, they have a team of like 4 and they were like, you do this all alone. How do you do it? And I was like, I don't know. I just do it. But then I'm like, but then I outsource the things I don't want to do or I can't do. I pay someone else to do.
What do you outsource right now?
I outsource the cover art and then the music, and I use Pick My Brain for the cover art, and then just connection. Like I met Tristan through Molly, and he was like, "I'll do the music." Perfect.
Yeah, that's like Mitch. That's so true. I have every piece I need to do it as well. And you got the templates from Lance too. You saw.
Yep. I got the templates from Lance. I got to listen to Bianca and Lance's conversation because they talked about podcasting. Then I got to listen. So then I got to gather all this information and then further questions. Then I could ask Lance about it.
Amazing.
It's an empire.
It's an empire. It's a full empire. And it's like building the Great Wall of China though. And I'm like the one that's building it.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, but fuck. It's gonna take. But it is. It's like the thing. And the tech is not gonna be it. And it's just like gonna be I'm building a university, right? A schedule of events, and I just gotta be prepared to take it on.
Mm-hmm.
But partner everywhere I possibly can to leverage the brain.
Well, everything takes time. Everything
takes time.
Like when you know when things align and when they feel right and when you're like, okay, now I was like, yeah, now I'm ready. Let's do it.
So true. I want to tell my team that sometimes. I'm like, it's okay, guys. It doesn't feel ready yet. And there's no rush. There's no arbitrary date. Remember, we are building the Great Wall of China. Right. And like, yeah, and things do take time. And everyone gets so anxious about how much time that should take. And I'm like, if we have money and we're moving forward and we're adding value, chill out. You know? But at the same time, I'm like, cool, if we set up this way, we can literally onboard thousands at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we take the time at the beginning to be calm about it and like think about this from the long term, which is why we're taking the upfront time now, right?
Yeah.
You're right. Then you can start to leverage even bigger, right? I'm like, okay, I can partner with Jess. I can partner with 100 podcasters, and then I can bring Jess and 100 podcasters together to be different. Yeah. And only them, I only sell 100 of them. Like, how many podcasts are there? I think there's 825,000 podcasters in North America. I was like, hey, I'm going to invite 100. You've been invited based on what you talk about, who you are, to, oh wait, no. We want to pay you because we love what you talk about, what you do. Just at the standard, just knows this is exactly the contract. Who wants it? You know?
It was the best thing ever to be like, I want to sponsor Human to Human. And I was like, perfect. I'll have a proposal for you by the end of the week.
Yeah. It was so awesome.
You take it and you grab it and you go with it. And then I started doing it and I was like, holy shit, this is exciting. I'm so like, this is perfect.
It's so good. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, the best thing ever is like hearing that you inspired a thought in someone else. Two of the best things ever. One, when people compliment your energy, but two, which all brains, I could compliment all the brains' energies in so many different ways. But when people also say you inspired something in them. I met this guy on Bumble and he came on my podcast and him and his best friend started a podcast and I went on it today.
Amazing. That is the best compliment. You literally birthed something by introducing someone to something. I think that's why people love to raise things, but I also love to like give that to anyone. And that I love you to feed. I want to feed that into my Slack channel because that is what I've decided. That's how to share Pick My Brain. What did it feel like to have a session? What did you walk away with? Like, oh, I just went on Pick My Brain and walked away with 5 ideas, ... You know, I just went on Pick My Brain and got like a whole surge of energy from talking to this 19-year-old fucking psychology student. I just got a burst. Like, just say exactly what it is. Yeah. And it's nothing more. It's nothing less than like literally, I don't know, like reaching out and being like, I want to know deeply about your life in 1 hour. It's just podcast, but private.
Yeah, that's what Pick My Brain is. It's private. When you book people for conversations, it's like a private podcast where you can ask. And this is what Katie said on our episode too, which I love, which will be released so soon.
Isn't she like a conversationalist, like Olympian?
Yes, and I love.
I can't even like. I'm like, how do I take it?
I'm like, we could just go for hours and hours and hours. But then you need a brain. It's like good. It's like working out though, because you need a brain break.
Yeah. I know she is an Olympian. Like it reminds me of when I did play volleyball. I made this tournament, what was it called? Vancouver Open, and you had to try out to get in, and you had to go through a full day tournament. The top like 4 teams made it into this big tournament that Olympians came to, and your first match was going to be against the best team. So you usually just made it, and then you get out. Mm-hmm. You have to play an Olympian, and I got to be on the court while 2 Olympians absolutely crushed us. Like it was not, when they were warming up, we're like, my God, like what? Why are we here? You know, but it was so remarkable to feel how much better they are. And I've always said, like at an Olympic stadium, I really wish they had a slow, like a fast person against an Olympian. Not just Olympians. I want like the national or like a high school champion just to show the difference. Yeah. We're not even like as impressed as like what I felt in that moment. I was like, this is bananas. And that's Katie to me in conversation.
Yeah, and the thing I love so much about
Yeah.
the thing I love so much about Katie, okay, well, we even talked about this. She was like, when you are interrupting people in a conversation, that's when you know it's so good because you're like, wait, I need to talk, I need to touch on that, I need to touch on that. And what I love about Katie and what I love about all the brains is that she's like, I'm an open book. Ask me anything you want to ask. Ask me the things that you wouldn't typically feel like you could ask someone. And that's where the conversations get so good.
Yeah, totally. It's so true. Yeah, and it's tennis. It's like pick my brain tennis. Yeah. I think you have a duty to show off how good people are and yummy and how much they can transfer to you in an hour. And like that's the angle that I want pick my brain. Like pick my brain. It was inspired, like build it in. Like I just want to be like, this is exactly what we want to show off more of. And then I want to be like, Jess, can you please introduce yourself to all of my brains and say on behalf of Pick My Brain, we'd like to show you off.
Yeah. And
increase. Yeah.
What I love too, what I just realized as well is like people will listen to the episodes and be like, oh my gosh, I love listening to this conversation. I have further questions I want to ask. Like Katie and I were like, oh my God, I should ask my listeners what they want to hear and bring you on again. But instead of doing that, just go book them on Pick My Brain. It's a perfect sponsorship. It makes so much sense.
The podcast sponsorship is just like no brainer, 100% all over.
Hashtag no brainer.
Hashtag no brainer because it is. I should have a meeting with you, Lance, Jurgen, and like figure out a deal. Hey guys, this is the perfect relationship for all of us. This is why. This is what we'd like to do. I don't know. I do feel like it's a very good. It helps the listener. It helps the person you're interviewing. It makes it more purposeful, and it helps guide. Like this isn't going to end up. I don't know. It's a different way to show someone off. I'm like really excited to, I got to hop on interview.
And it's like a free way for people to like be a fly on the wall in a conversation with a brain or multiple brains and then be like, oh my gosh, okay, this could benefit my life to go further so much. Like I have someone that I don't even know who reaches out to me on Instagram and is like, oh my gosh, like I love your podcast. I want to hear you talk about this, this, and this. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll make a podcast episode about that. But you know how much quicker it would be and how much more value someone could get if it's just back and forth one-on-one conversation. Maxine, can you tell us why conversation is the new currency?
Oh my gosh. It just is everything. It's real-time knowledge, it's energy, it's experience, it's style, it's vibe, it's descriptions, it's context, it's story. It's got all the components. And it is the most real source of truth I found that I've gotten close. It's the closest form of truth, I think. So, by truth, it is. It's the highest form of value transfer to me that I've experienced. I get the furthest, the fastest with custom conversation. I can go as far as I want.
I talked to Lance before I started the podcast because I was able to get so much advice. And that's why like people are like, this can inspire people because it's like, oh, wait, you did that? Okay, so how do I do that? And then you can ask someone all these questions. And Pick My Brain is perfect because it has all of these brains. You can browse all these brains and be like, okay, how do I want to design my own life? And then how can I book someone to like help me further that? Or how can I explore something more about myself and book someone to talk to them about that to further that? And where can you find that? Where can you find a database of people who are like, ask me about this, 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 and this?
Why doesn't that exist? Like, let's ask why. Like, I'm like, now I'm going around to society and be like, why? Like I feel like as an adult, this would be very helpful, And I feel like where we're going for society, this is what needs to be the case, guys, right? Like, right? I think you said that beautifully. I think, I don't know. I feel like it's abundant. It's always changing. I love those quotes that are like, don't assume that you know who I am. Meet me again for the first time every time. Because that day I'm a little different.
Yeah.
And like that month I'm definitely a little different. And I hope you like seek to find out the differences and notice them because
that's so true. Whenever people like the guys I've been talking to on Hinge, they're like, oh, what episode should I listen to? I'm like, listen to whatever episode you feel called to listen to. I'm like, whatever topic speaks to you, listen to it. And then I said to this guy today, I was like, or you can listen to one of the most recent ones because then you get a feel for where I'm at more now and where the show is going to go.
Yeah, seriously. I love it. why doesn't everyone have a podcast? And really,
Yeah.
it really is like the way to dig in formally, which is what Pick My Brain is. But you don't need the setup, and you don't need to record, and you don't need to publish. You can have them private too.
Exactly.
Right?
And you don't need, yeah. And that's why it's like,
not everyone can do that part. Yeah.
Yeah. Why doesn't everyone have a podcast, or why doesn't everyone have a Pick My Brain profile where they can have these conversations at the drop of the hat? I know I want one that's like all like above and like fancy.
I feel like a podcast class with a crew would be like, hey guys, what does your setup look like? What are you going to get? Like, what is it, like,
oh my God, totally.
Are you headphones? Do you have your mic showing? What's your intro like? What's your exit like? What's the question you always ask? Like, that's what makes it fun. Yeah. It's like how people administer them.
And I'm always like constantly needing to revise my profile, obviously.
I think I gotta sell it that way. Guys will always be adding questions. You'll always be changing it. It'll always be evolving. That's the point.
Yeah,
so I don't have to nail it. I just like I cannot tell you that's my biggest hurdle in the entire company. I swear to God. It's like, because I'm trying to, I have 100, 200 plus people that I think of from all angles. I'm like, how do I show them? How do I show them? And how do I show them as a group? And then how do I make them searchable? And how do I match them? And how to make them bookable. Yeah. I mean, he's introduced me to, this is another thing brains do. When you meet someone for the first time, this is why I'm addicted to meeting people, because when you meet someone for the first time, the number of things they introduce you to are insane. Yeah, they're insane.
Oh, and the amount of doors they open that you never thought about before is just crazy.
It's insane.
And that's why it's like, I had this thought today that I'm like, oh my God, because I'm podcasting, because I like can book brains and I'm a part of this community, I talk to so many new people. When I realized, I'm like, oh my God, I talked to so many new people, and looked at my brother and I was like, do you talk to new people? Like, I didn't say that, but I was just like, the amount I learn and my brain expands.
That's so true. We should actually say that. Hey, are you you should just get a subscription and Pick My Brain just to make sure you are clean in that department, Yeah, that's a great way to frame it. I love it. Do you talk to people?
Yeah, do you talk to new people? Because it's just like, I feel like so often I'm talking to new people, I don't even think about it anymore. It's just so fun.
See that is the sell. Talk to new people. That is worth something. That's at least worth $60 a month, I feel like. Talk to anyone you want in the system. Look at them all. And it doesn't have to be so, again, sell. I think that list, that inspiration list, what we'll talk about, that one's better than ask me about my education, my experience. I'm like, no. Ask me about a shower thought. Maybe, we might talk about passions. We might talk about shower thoughts. We might talk about the world. Things we might talk about even,
Yeah.
And
it's so exciting to link. I'm going to in the show notes, I always link everything. And so I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, guess who we're talking to today, Katie? Here's her profile. Go check her out.
Yeah. Or here's her, even what offer she wants to offer.
Ooh, that'll be a new question.
What do you want to offer our guests?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you have to offer our guests today?
Okay, sorry. This is gonna set my podcast apart from any other fucking podcast. Sorry.
Exactly.
What?
Yes.
When can you follow up with hosts and guests?
Exactly. Never. And in all the ways that you just illuminated to make it so comfortable. And the person on the other side can be like, please come in. Yes, please. This is what is your invitation to the world? What might people think and to talk to you about? What are they going to learn when they talk to you about? You're going to fill in all the gaps I can't fill with just the medium on the profile. And we're going to add, oh my God, because we want everyone to also have a free profile, because we believe that everyone should have more conversations, right? I feel like that's human to human. That's Pick My Brain. That's the same values. A portfolio item should be their podcast. I have my introduction as a podcast that I just did, and I'll switch it out and in and out. But that should just become part of your profile. Oh, as part of it, we're going to add this to your Pick My Brain profile, because it's now a portfolio piece for you. Yeah. It's a fucking portfolio piece. Okay. So what is the first, I guess this piece is the first step, or announcement is the first step?
Announcement is the first step. I'm going to cut this up into the conversation, take out all the really good pieces, and make it so this is I got you explaining how Pick My Brain started. I'm going to give an introduction about it and be meet the CEO. She will be featured consistently. So and even link our old episode that we did months ago.
Once a month, put it in our calendar for once a month.
Yeah, I think we should. Okay. I'm making notes of things I need to do. Okay. So
and we're started.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm so
you.
excited. So official. Can you believe that when we're like old and wrinkly, we'll be talking about remember when?
And it's recorded.
And it's all recorded. Yeah, crazy. Your job is just keep it organized, keep it categorized, keep it cataloged, and you will build up that's your real estate. Our parents got to invest in real estate. Yours will be this depository of knowledge that you keep organized for the rest of your life, and you're doing it way early. So
yeah, crazy. It is crazy. Like, I want to work on validating myself and how much I do. And you need to do this too. And I know you need to do this with yourself. Is because it takes for other people to recognize how much I'm doing. Like they'll be like, Jess, I don't know anyone who's 19 and has a podcast, or just people who will say things and I'll be like, oh wait, you're right. Like today, the guys were like, you do this all yourself. And I'm like, oh wait, like you're right. Like I'm always like, it's whatever.
So true. Me too, for sure. And I always feel like I'm not doing enough, like constantly. It's constantly like, and to the point where it drowns me, where I'm like, I'm not even close to as fast as I need to be.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm so far behind. I just feel like I'm playing the Olympian all the time. I'm like, no, I'm like, yeah, we should. That's interesting.
Taking those moments and being like, no, look at how much I did today. Look at how much I did this week. Look at how like meaningful, like my experiences were, my conversations.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited for this episode. Little snippets too.
Me too. Oh yeah, I'll send you all the snippets.
We'll talk.
Okay, next catch up, boy talk.
Boys. And that's how we should end all our episodes, is like just starting to go into the next topic and be like, if you want to watch us, we're gonna talk about boys next week.
Oh my God.
And like
yes.
and we can start off with the situation, like, okay, my situation's fucking messy. Here's where I am.
And then do you know how cool it'll be to see us grow with the show?
I love it. I feel like I feel like 12 sessions is that's the thing to do with someone that you want to, I don't know, have a portfolio with.
Yeah. And if you want to go further, book us on Pick My Brain. Pickmybrain.world.
Exactly. Oh, so good. Okay, girl, I'm so excited about this partnership.
Me too. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Keep me just, my weaknesses, like organization and accountability, and like just pepper me.
Totes.
But it's, I think we're pretty solid.
Yeah, I think so too. We'll chat really soon.
Okay. Sounds good. Love you.
Bye. Conversations are life-changing, meeting new people is exciting, and Pick My Brain helps to normalize this and make it so simple, so easy, and take all this uncertainty out of it. So be sure to go to pickmybrain.world to explore more. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Follow me on Instagram at Jessica J. McDonald. Follow at Human to Human Pod. Make sure you're subscribed and leave a review. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Tuesday.